Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 168 and today we're starting things off in the aquarium section of my base. Now, the reason that we're starting here, for those of you who missed the previous episode, is because, well, somehow, and for those of you who have seen the episode, you will understand what I mean when I say somehow. Somehow, I managed to make this place look quite cool. So, we came into that episode really without a plan. To be quite frankly honest with you, I didn't really have a plan. All I wanted to do, and for some reason this came into my head, all I wanted to do was build up some form of roller coaster going through the center of the aquarium. Just wrapping around like this. I realized that it was a figure of 8, so I thought I'd do a figure of 8 and I'll cross over. And that's kind of all I had planned. And, I mean, it looked terrible. It really did look bad. But then we started messing around with all this other stuff. So I started chucking in some archways, that looked good. Then I thought to myself, okay, so we've got some sand on the floor over in this section. What happens if I start placing in some sugarcane? Because of course we've got the ocean grass in the aquatic update that's coming out soon. And we're not underwater here, and we're also not in the update aquatic, which means that I was going to struggle to place any of that in. So I thought I'd swap it out for sugarcane, and it looked really good. And then I started spreading it everywhere, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, this build has just... I mean, it has improved tenfold. It seriously has improved tenfold. And in today's episode, what I thought we could do is just kind of have like a chilled out experimental episode where we just mess around with some building and see if we can do anything with this space. Just play around with some different ideas. Now, the first thing that I want to find out is... Okay, that's good. We're actually going to have to clear out my inventory here. So we have some blue stained panes. Some light blue stained panes, which is a very difficult thing to say. But we don't actually have any blue stained glass. Okay, we'll have to gather up some of that because I am definitely going to need a ton of that for the idea that I've had for this place. Thankfully, there are a couple stacks left over in the super smelters, just 2.5 stacks, which should hopefully be enough to get us started on this, just to get us a rough idea of what this is actually going to look. Now, I wonder how this looks. I don't have the best feeling about it. Yeah, still don't have the best feeling about it. I think maybe if we make it a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit longer, start dropping some things down, maybe even a different color. Okay, I'm going to leave that there for the time being. Maybe we'll try out some different stuff with the floor first, because there's a few little details I want to add. I mean, what can we actually see from our minecart track? Now, there's a spot, I would say there, that could definitely do with some decoration. Some areas on that wall that could do with some stuff. And that zone there, that zone there, that zone there, and that zone there. They could all do with a little bit extra detail. Some of the details that we're building in the aquarium are going to involve gold, because of course, you know, there's going to be a slight piratey kind of treasure theme going on, and of course we need gold for that. So I've had to pop over to this rather lovely farm. I mean, you guys have seen this a ton of times on my channel, but it doesn't get much better than this, does it? I mean, just watching these guys running to their deaths, and they're being killed by minecarts of all things. It's ridiculous. And look at this guy. He's having a great old time. Oh, no. He's taking it seriously now. He's coming to kill me. See, now, as much as I love this farm, the only issue is that you can't actually AFK at it because, A, occasionally these guys just stop trying to kill you. But more importantly, B, if any chicken baby zombies spawn, then they don't actually die, and they can kill you real quickly. See what I mean? Whoa! That was ridiculously close. It knocked me down to half a heart. I got so lucky then. Those things are absolutely brutal. Okay, I've got to be real careful here. Come on, just a few more levels to go, and there we go, 100. I thought I would stay up here until we reach the magical 3 digits in levels. Now let's see how much gold we've actually managed to get from this. The answer is not really that much. You can see from my inventory, I picked up some gold earlier on, and I crafted that into the gold blocks, and we got to... Yeah, we got 7 stacks of gold and 7 ingots. But if we just... Okay, so we're doing that. Okay, that gives us that. And then... Okay, so we're up to 12. And then this side, whoa, we have got a lot more gold there. Okay, that's not actually that bad. And the reason that we needed all of that gold is because I wanted to create this. Now, do you know in fish tanks, you have that little chest which opens up and it creates the bubbles and everything? Unfortunately, we're not going to be having the bubbles, but I thought it would be good to have a little golden chest sitting there. And I have to say, I think that's so great. Oh, that's perfect. Probably not worth the hours of effort that have gone into actually getting my hands on it. But, no, that's done the trick. And we still have 14 blocks of gold left, which are going to come in handy in the future, I'm sure. Okay, let's start work on the other projects. What else can we do? Now, I'm curious to see if we start placing in things like this. So we did this originally. This was one of the first things that we did, is we kind of built some coral shapes that were wrapping around doing some funny stuff. But because there was nothing else really going on in the area, it looked a little bit weird. Whereas if we start dropping in some hints of pink and other things like that now, it might actually start to look a little bit cooler. And yes, it does. It's just this one has basically covered up everything there. So let's just quickly just take that down and maybe place one going up like this. Maybe even coming into this area here. And then popping up like that. One or two little ones. Maybe a few little pink fellas down there too. Yes, I like the idea. I don't like the execution though. Yeah, don't like that so much. Maybe if okay, let's take out all of that and let's see what it looks like when it's kind of semi-hidden away. It's not bad. There's something not quite right about it. Yeah, there's something not quite right about that one. Everything is so much harder to build than I was expecting. Oh, that's meant to be a starfish. It's meant to be a starfish that is meant to resemble a beautiful starfish that I saw when I was snorkeling in the Philippines. This crazy blue starfish. But that is not what it looked like. There we go. That actually looks much, much better. That looks pretty cool. That kind of looks like a starfish just on that wall there. Yes, absolutely 100%. Okay, that's really cool looking. Alright, I think maybe a sea lantern needs to go in this corner here to brighten it up. And then we need to start adding in some other bits and bobs around this area. Oh my word, I've just had a thought. I have got... Well, one. So I've got one fish head there. I've got two fish heads there. Okay, we could be onto something here. We might be able to actually place a handful of fish around. Look, so we've got three. Do we get clownfish heads? What I really want is a clownfish head. Okay, two more. There's three of those regular fish. Oh, we had 37 there. Yes, okay. We could be onto something. Okay, this could be good fun. Especially because we had a handful of petrified clownfish. So at the minute, I'm just going to be using these ones because the regular fish are quite ugly. But what I thought was, this kind of looks like a sea anemone. That's kind of what I was going for. And as you know from Finding Nemo, these little fish, the clownfish, actually live inside these anemones. So we can place them around and... That is the best thing ever. So this little guy's gonna be floating there. Oh yes. Oh, that is the best. That is absolutely fantastic. And then we'll get another one maybe poking through the bushes. Maybe around about there. Just looking directly at us. A little bit of rotation on it. That is adorable. Oh, I'm in love. Look, I know that I blasted the ugly fish heads just a tiny bit earlier on, but I've actually thought to myself, it would be quite cool to get like a full school of these things. So if I place a fish head on top like that. Okay, this is actually going to be quite difficult to do. Are we going to have to go from the top down? I guess we're going to have to go from the top down. So we're going to build, basically, you know all of the sardines? They all get together and they swim along in like a massive batch. That's what I'm going to try my best to recreate with these fish heads here. I think I might have started a little bit too high up. I think having them wrap around here, that's probably the perfect spot, right about there. So that's all of them gone. I've placed every single petrified fish head that I had in terms of this batch, and we should now have a full school of fish just kind of swimming along. Now, I want to get my first impression of this from the actual minecart. I think that's the best way to go because this is how we're going to be viewing all of this stuff. So if we just pop inside, so we go past our little fish there. Oh, yes! That looks fantastic. That looks so fantastic. Then when we come over the top, oh, that is so cool. That is so cool. I'm going to do that again. I want to see it from over here. Look at those little guys. I was not expecting that to work out so well. That is just purely brilliant. I'm also getting considerably better at these sea anemones as well. Like, that looks like a legitimate anemone. In fact, I might actually do that to this one. This one's a little bit different. That one works for over there, especially because most of it is being covered up by the sugarcane, so it kind of works out. But I think from this point forth, what I've done over here is what I'm going to be doing, because look, I've filled in the floor underneath. It's quite difficult to actually see, but I've filled in the floor underneath, and then everything just comes straight upwards, and it looks quite natural. Starfishes are some of the hardest things to build in Minecraft. It's such an odd shape to try and I suppose everything's a funny angle for the world of blocks. Anyway, let's give you a quick update of what I've done so far. So I think you've seen this. Now we have these little salmon fellas swimming along here. We've got the pufferfish out the side, which these are meant to be like almost like seaweeds, I guess, and you can see there's a few up at the top there. And then also we have this big red starfish that is up against this kind of artificial wall that I've just spent a little bit of time building up. So that should give you a good feeling of where we are at this point on the roller coaster. And I have to say, the whole point of this thing is that it's meant to be like a sensory overload. Like there's so much stuff going on that it's impossible to take it all in on your first time around, so you should want to go on it like multiple times. Say for example, if you're a hermit visiting, that's kind of the idea here. I mean, even with all of these details here, you might actually miss the fact that there is guardians and everything inside this area, which, hang on a minute. There's a guardian in there. And guardians kill squid. That thing's killed my squid. How has that happened? A guardian has come in there and killed my squid. But that doesn't make any sense. That guardian doesn't even have a name. It wouldn't be renamed because I didn't put it in there. So I spent hours getting squid into this part of the aquarium, and this guy's come in and bombarded them. We don't have our squid anymore. They're definitely gone. Oh, what? One thing that I really wanted to get in here was a wreck. So I wanted to build a plane wreck. Now this has proven to be much more difficult than I was actually expecting. I mean, yeah, it's tough. Okay, so, I mean, those are the early blocks that we've got. Maybe the yellow nose needs to go. Maybe if we replace... see, that just looks kind of shapeless. That actually doesn't look too bad. Would you think that was an aeroplane if you saw it? I feel like maybe take off this. And then have a few more blocks. See, the thing is, I am going to grab some vines, and we're going to cover this thing in vines so it looks a little bit more worn out. God, this is real difficult. Maybe... oh, okay, I've had an idea. If we put in the propellers, then I definitely think that's going to help things. I've just thought of a really funny prank to play on your friends. Fill up their chest with grey glass panes. Look at that. You cannot tell that that is there. And they'll be trying to shift click things into their chest and they'll think their game is broken, but actually it's just full of these things. You know what? Yeah, I buy it. I absolutely buy it. That totally, to me, looks like an underwater plane wreck. In fact, these vines, it's probably not a bad idea to have them going on elsewhere in the build. I mean, they definitely don't look that out of place, and that looks really cool as you come around this corner here. That is 100% a plane wreck. That is 100% a plane wreck. All that effort, and you're only going to see it for a couple seconds, and you're probably going to be more focused on these little fellas as well. Still though, that's a really cool detail to have in this build. Ah, that is nice. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this far too much. I do kind of wish we actually came in this way. That way you would actually see the plane wreck as you travel on through. That would have been, yeah, that would have been wiser. We are almost at completion here. I mean, we've got this little thing here. We're now out of these little clownfish, which is a real shame because they're some of my favorites. But now we're wrapping around here, and I've just placed in some green around in this section, and then a few of the puffer fish. There we have our school of fish, and we have all of this interesting stuff going on. So to be honest with you, I don't think there's anything that we really need there. The only place that I would say that needs some work is probably this section back here. That could do with something quite big. In fact, I mean, we could put a diver's helmet there. You know, in aquariums, you see the diver's helmets that the fish can swim around in. Maybe this would have been the perfect spot for the plane crash, realistically. But that looks okay over there. But a diver's helmet, that could be a good idea. And then over in this section, all we need is some stuff out the back there. Maybe some more greenery with a few pufferfish. And then we're done. We are totally done. There's so much going on in this area. I can't believe how much detail we have in this small space. I thought one thing that would be fun, instead of having a diver's mask, is to perhaps have something a little bit like this, which is a pipe that is flowing into our aquarium. Or it's not an aquarium, this is meant to be like underwater ocean type thing, but this is a pipe that is clearly pumping out some kind of, well, not looking particularly good fluid. Yeah, that's not brilliant, but if we place in some pufferfish around the area, I don't know, it starts to look kind of quite nice. Let's get another one up here, maybe, pointing in that direction. Then maybe one off over here. And I would say he should be pointing pretty much straight forward. Yeah, that's looking good. And then when we come around the corner on our little minecart, we should be able to pick up on all those details. Now, it is getting so difficult to walk around in this area. That looks so good. That looks great. So, there we go. Everything is completed. This thing is now all fully finished, I would say. There was only a small amount left to do. Let's just quickly pick up these little fellas. There was just a small amount to do in this little corner here, but that's just to do with these little fish here. And then we wrap around back to the start. And that's it. So this thing is now fully completed. We've still got all the guardians in place, so we still have an actual aquarium going on. But to be honest with you, the star of the show isn't actually the guardians. I'd kind of forgotten that the guardians are in these chambers. The real star is just everything else that is going on in this area. I mean, let's take a quick ride. I feel like we should ride around this thing. So we've got the pufferfish there. We've got a little anemone. We've got the fish there. We've got the fish there, fish there. We've got obviously all the guardians, our giant starfish, our treasure chest, our plane. We've got all of the fish down there. I mean, there's so much going on for your eyes to take in. We've got the pipeline. We've got more fish in that corner. There's just so much going on. It doesn't matter like what you're doing. It doesn't matter how many times you ride it. There's always something else that you're going to notice when going around this area. And it's got me thinking, I think this might be my favorite base area. I think, yeah, this has definitely gone from being by far my least favorite. So I didn't hate this place, but I regretted, I was upset, I was disappointed at the fact that I personally couldn't get it together and I couldn't make it look how I wanted it to look. Because do you remember when I built this place, I had really, really big plans, and then I kept getting confidence knocks kind of thing. Like, I would have a plan to decorate the aquarium, and I would have ideas, but I just couldn't execute them. So we originally laid out all of the terracotta and I came up with these crazy plans for corals and things, and it just didn't work. It just didn't look good. So then I came back to it a couple weeks later with the chorus plants, and they looked absolutely terrible. They really didn't work out, and I was kind of a little bit disheartened by the entire project. I thought it had all gone awfully, and I didn't really want to look at it again. And I'm so happy that I just committed to it the other day and gave it a go, because it has worked out fantastically. And yeah, as I say, this is now definitely, yeah, it's my favorite place. It's surpassed TNT Land. This place has surpassed TNT Land. I'm excited to hear your thoughts down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think of this place. If there's any improvements you think I could make, then let me know down in the comment section. What is your favorite part of the aquarium as well? For me personally, I think it might actually be that plane crash. I think that looks fantastic. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I hope that you enjoyed this episode on the Hermitcraft server. If you did, be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and you should check out the latest mini documentary that we've put out on the filming channel of Grian's cats. I mean, come on, how could you miss that? How could you miss it? Just click the link that's on the description, on the end screen, whatever. Just go ahead.